Well, the channel's riding strong. I actually had my biggest week of all time. Actually, yesterday, for some reason, right after, it's weird, YouTube algorithms go like, psh, with the biggest of all time, and then I cover some pretty interesting stuff going on yesterday, and it didn't quite go as well. So look for yesterday's videos. This morning's video is doing very excellent by contrast. I have no idea why or rhyme or reason on this stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me. And that's why I always promote my newsletter, because it's like, I don't know when this algorithm is going to go away or whatever. It's always random. And so that's why I want you guys to sign up. But today I'm going to do one more thing, which is very interesting to me. And I'm trying to review and talk about classic Star Trek more and more and more, as it's a lot of fun. So today we're on Voyager Dreadnought. And so we will talk about this. Don't click away just because this is about classic Star Trek. I know you guys are Starfleet Academy news hounds and the like I am. It's fun. But we have a lot of fun here. And I'm a sci-fi writer myself. I've been showing off this. This is my hardcover for The Soul Catcher, the first in Valiant Frontiers. I've got a full trilogy of hardcovers, which I wrote all of this last year. And then what did I do with it? I just kept it to myself, put it all together, put it on a crowdfund, and these beautiful hardcovers are going out to backers right now, which I don't want you to miss the next iteration of these. That's why I want you to sign up for my newsletter in case that does happen. You might never find me again. That's kind of how YouTube works. So sign up here. It's in the description below. You get 3 free books for signing up, and I'm regular with this stuff. I'm very active. It's really good to be in the JDA fan base here. We have a great community, and I appreciate you being here. Sign up in the description below, and let's take a look at Dreadnought, my friends. So this is an interesting premise. This Cardassian missile is floating through space. It got picked up like Voyager did and shoved to the Delta Quadrant, and that scrambled its systems a little bit to where it keeps going, and it's looking to target some alien species that it thinks is in the Cardassian space, even though it's wrong. Now, there's some interesting stuff to start this episode that like doesn't quite feel right for where it is in the 17th episode of Voyager's second season. A couple things start to happen. We have like this like crew back and forth like sort of thing where there's like this tension between the crew, which they really amplified in the first few episodes about this. Like the Maquis were at each other's throats with the Starfleet people. Tom Paris was like a bad boy who wasn't fitting in anywhere, and he was having problems with Chakotay and the like. And you know, that was all amplifying. They pretty much resolved all that early in the second season with Neelix and Tom Paris kind of burying the hatchet, and that was kind of the end of that. They brought it back here, and it felt really out of place. Tom Paris has a fight with Chakotay, and like Tom Paris is wrong, and he deals with that. Now, what results in this is very, very interesting from just the whole structure of Voyager's perspective. Even though that felt out of place for where we are in the season, B'Elanna actually talks with Tom Paris about it, and they start to build a little bit of chemistry together. That's the first time I remember seeing any chemistry with them in this. Obviously, that pays off quite a bit later as we get on to Voyager, which I appreciate. So, interesting start to the episode. Now, as this goes along, this is like an uber bottle episode. Even though she does transport over the Dreadnought, it is just there, and it's mostly Roxanne Biggs-Dawson, B'Elanna, talking to herself throughout the entire episode. It's kind of flat and a little boring on this level. It's a cool concept, right? This super weapon's out there. It's coming to a planet. Voyager has to stop it. Now, Voyager interacts with these aliens, and they're like, hey, by the way, this super weapon's coming towards you. And they're like, we don't trust you. Now, that doesn't really build throughout the episode so much. There wasn't much of a conflict between them. There was a little bit at first. But Janeway's like, look, you know, we didn't even have to tell you about this. We could have just let it happen if we actually were the destructive people you thought we were. And Voyager spends the entire episode trying to stop this from happening so millions of people don't die. Now, this is a classic sci-fi sort of thing. Disarm the weapon. It's disarm the time bomb before the time bomb goes off. And that is a very classic trope sort of thing. What's interesting about this episode compared to almost every other Star Trek episode is there's no B-plot. Almost every Star Trek episode has this like B-plot sort of situation, C-plot sometimes. After the initial parts with Tom Paris and all that, it is entirely the B'Elanna Torres story, and nothing else is happening in this entire situation. Pretty interesting on this level. So it's a very straightforward, singular, simple plot. Disarm the time bomb before it goes off. Now, in these structures in sci-fi, to keep tension going, you have to keep escalating the threat. And so, yes, it's a few days out. Now it's a few hours out. Now it's a few minutes out, right? Not as that goes on, it's stage 5. We're at stage 4. We're at stage 3. And you don't know what that means, and it's scary. It starts firing at Voyager, and it fires back, etc. Now, B'Elanna programmed these security systems herself because is the twist, is that she set everything up because she was trying to hurt the Cardassians, and she was aiming the Cardassian weapons back at the Cardassians as a Maquis agent. And so since she programmed these robust security systems, she can't even get past them a lot of the time. It doesn't believe her that they've gone to the Delta Quadrant because it's highly improbable and almost to the point of impossible. And the super weapon actually thinks that she's been captured by the Cardassians, and that the Federation is helping them based on the treaty that was started in the Next Generation. So lots of good lore building in the Star Trek universe here that actually builds some of the background and continues some of those plot threads along, which is kind of nice. But it is because the weird parts at the beginning, because of the Cardassian stuff, I almost felt like this pitch was something that somebody gave them before Voyager, or that they gave them at the very beginning of season 1, and then it came in. And it was just on the back burner, and it's we better do this one now. We don't have anything left in the reserves, because it's kind of weirdly out of place this far into things. Now, we're also 2 years into Voyager, so this thing happened to be traveling in the same direction for that many years at the exact same amount of time, going towards this planet, which happened to be in the Voyager way. There's a lot of plot contrivances. Honestly, it's not that bad. You don't think about it on that way, but those are things that are about this. They're that's interesting. So B'Elanna does eventually go aboard the deal, where do we got? Well, we don't have any images of her aboard the deal. We got all the images we got, and they're mostly ones from Memory Alpha because there's not a lot of images of these episodes on the internet out there. And she starts working on it, and it cuts off the life support. She's going to, it starts shocking her. The personal tension escalates as she tries to disarm it. Meanwhile, Voyager's going to, actually position themselves and explode their warp core to stop it. They set off a self-destruct sequence to escalate. And so the plot structure is try and fail, try and succeed, right? And that's very normal, again, for any sort of storytelling. The try and fail one time doesn't quite escalate things enough, so you try and fail twice, and that's where it all goes and builds. Not a lot to the episode beyond that. I guess it's very character-oriented because the computer of this is also Roxanne Biggs-Dawson, whereas B'Elanna's interacting with that. And that's the entirety of the episode in a nutshell. So in some ways, it's flat and boring. In some ways, it's an all right time bomb story. I like B'Elanna's interaction. This establishes her very well as a superb engineer. And it also builds that little Tom Paris in that one little moment at the beginning of the episode that kind of makes the episode all the way worth it. And that's all. All right. This is kind of I'd say a 7 out of 10 episode. It's all right is where it goes to. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If you like my thoughts on storytelling, please sign up for my newsletter in the description below. I really appreciate you guys being here and reading. We'll be back soon.